we should pledge of allegiance first. I pledge allegiance
to the flag
to the
United States of America and to the republic for which it stands,
for which it stands,
one
one
nation,
nation,
under
under
God,
God,
indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Didn't you go to elementary school?
did, but I forgot all that stuff.
It was a few years ago. I think indivisible was a tough word to know.
Sorry. Will they call the roll, please?
Commissioner Chaco,
Here.
Commissioner Fresco,
Here.
Commissioner Hamilton,
Here.
Commissioner Lambert,
Here.
Commissioner Landris,
Here.
Commissioner Reese,
Present.
and Chair Tolkien.
Here. Director's report.
Good evening, Commission. Coming up at your next meeting, actually, the next meeting is November 20th, and that's canceled. Following that, the meeting on December 4th, we have 1901 Wilshire, which is a conditional use permit and development review and modification and waiver application for a medical office building. 1521 17th Street is a parcel map extension. So those are the two items for December 4th. And then December 18th, 1673 9th Street is a creative office building. And then 1420 20th Street is one of the Builders Remedy housing projects. And it's actually, the proposal is a combined housing project and hotel project. So we'll be bringing that to you on the 18th. And then just a reminder, in case you haven't done it already, please complete your mandatory cyberspace training. That was due on October 31st. So if you could take care of that if you haven't, that would be great. At recent ARB meeting, November 4th, just past Monday, the board reviewed 2307 Lincoln, which is a 69-unit housing project. The board continued out with some comments. And then they also reviewed 2919 Wilshire Boulevard. That's the old Jerry's Liquor site. And it's proposed as a 127-unit housing project. And that item was continued because of a lack of a quorum. Upcoming at Landmarks, which is November 18th. So that date was changed to clear the council chambers for the council next Monday night. So again, it's November 18th. And on the agenda that night is the certificate of appropriateness for the pier sign restoration. So when the pier bridge reconstruction happens, the sign needs to be relocated, and it's an opportunity to restore the sign. And then recent city council actions on October 22nd, the council approved the economic recovery ordinance for the downtown and promenade. So that was a continuation, kind of more of some of the code changes we've been making to make it easier for businesses to open on the promenade and downtown. This one, though, included pretty extensive promenade signage allowances. So pretty much, any size sign somebody wants to do on the promenade. Also, we're allowing digital signage for the first time, really in the city, but starting with the promenade. My screen just went blank, so I'll look up here. And then same night, the council also approved some Mills Act contracts. And then we got direction on a few 16 items. One was to increase the ADU size maximum to 1,200 square feet. They also directed us to look at the possibility of a Third Street Promenade entertainment zone. That's based on some recent state legislation that allows cities to establish kind of outdoor drinking zones. So we'll be taking a look at that and coming back with the proposed ordinance. And then they also gave direction on the fence wall hedge changes for the R2, R3, and R4 districts. And then also for fence wall hedge, again, enforcement, kind of moving that to the lowest priority in terms of code enforcement action. And then coming up at City Council on November 11th, which again is next Monday night, Compass Rose Landmark Appeal finally making its way to council after many, many years. And then following up again on the direction from the 22nd, they will have a resolution of intention for fence wall hedge in the R2, R3, and R4, and then also a resolution related to the fence wall hedge priority for code enforcement. So that's
have a
concludes my
question.
report.
Can they can they do an ROI without us?
Yes,
Apparently, huh?
yeah.
So the fact that we've had a problem with the hedge increase is not really relevant.
They can move forward at their own
Okay,
discretion.
thank you.
yes.
You have a,
Well, so does Nina, so.
oh, go ahead, Tina.
Just following up on that, doesn't it have to come to us for comment before they can actually vote on it, though?
Yeah, the
The ordinance
process,
will come back.
yeah, the ordinance would still come to the commission. Yeah, this is just the initiation of the process, and the code allows either the planning commission or the city council to initiate the process.
Okay, thank you.
So a couple of questions. The one on December 18th, 1420 20th Street, I remember driving by it. It's for sale. That's irrelevant. They can still bring it to us even though it's for sale.
Right.
Okay. That was interesting. I've never seen that before. And then on the fence wall hedge, I think one of the parts of the resolution was directing a public process. So if they do the ROI on November 11th, are you going to do the public process before you bring us the red line? Are you going to bring it to us for a study session?
Yes, part of the council direction was to include that community engagement process. So we are already in the process of kind of ramping up for that, because that has to be part of what's brought back to council, and we intend to bring that, the totality of the council's direction to the commission, including all the parts of the council direction.
Got it. And so we'll also get a chance to hear from PD because
Yes,
that
you will.
came up in
Yes.
our earlier.
Yes.
Cool.
And we're consulting with them too.
Are you finished?
It's for some reason, I'm just not seeing the world the way I want to these days. Yes, thank you.
When we talk public engagement, we're talking about public hearings and, I don't know, we're talking about community meetings, but basically public hearings, community meetings, et cetera.
Community meetings, no, we are actually preparing a survey and, outreach effort, so we're thinking it's a community engagement process as we.
I mean, if we're doing the questionnaire we talked about before, I think that is a road paved in whatever. You don't really ask a question unless you're pretty sure of the answer. And if you send out a survey and you get 1,000 people who want a 6-foot fence, and we've made ourselves pretty clear, what do we do then? I think that really needs to be thought through before you send out a survey form. There are 2,500 non-complying fences in R2, 3, and 4, and if even a third of them respond, we're in trouble, if we stay by what we think.
We'll need to get the input and then present to council the options. We'll need to get the input as directed, and then we'll present the options to the council. But yeah, you raise a good point.
Have we got a readout of how many people have violated the code in terms of the?
I think we're getting a little far afield on the director's report.
Okay.
I think we will obviously, when this comes back to the commission, we will include all of that information
Okay.
for you. So.
Didn't we, as a commission, talk about a subcommittee that would help devise the survey?
So I think maybe it's because I'm not sure that no, we did send a memo to the commission, right? On what happened with the process?
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I think we should address kind
Right,
of
so
any
again,
prior-
yeah, not to get too far afield because this is just the director's report, but the process was restarted, so the subcommittee was attached to the prior process, that direction from the planning commission. So that process was terminated. The process was again started pursuant to the 16 item on October 22nd. So that, and that already gave that direction for staff to engage in the community engagement process.
So we got skipped, is what you're saying?
I mean, I wouldn't say it's skipped. It was like like Heidi is saying, is that the process was terminated, and so.
Right. Yeah, I
Any
mean,
prior
but now
actions, discussions were not,
Right.
cannot be relevant, to what is
Right.
now coming forward per council's direction.
Exactly, and then council gave direction on the 22nd, which
Right.
staff is now following.
Right. And I'm sorry that this is a truncated version. Obviously, we can't put the entire direct. It's a
understand.
very extensive,
I was there.
and yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, well, request to speak from the audience on any of the agenda items? You got another?
a planning commissioner announcement, you just skipped.
Okay, all right.
Yes, this is what comes next.
Okay.
Planning commissioner
Announcements, okay.
I just have one brief announcement, and I've emailed the report to staff. As I think I mentioned, I went to the UCLA Arrowhead Symposium the other month, which focused on mega events. As the report, which I hope can be shared with the commission, details, there was quite a lot of conversation about plans for not just the Olympics and Paralympic Games, but the World Cup and the Super Bowl. And I think because the symposium was focused on transportation, housing, and things that are nominally within our ken, I do think it's worth the read, and I also think it's worth once again stressing. I believe the county took a vote today on setting up a multi-city collaborative working group that includes transportation. Just how unprepared this region is for the Olympic and Paralympic Games. I know that council has given direction to staff to try to go back and get a better deal. Without stepping into that conversation, I just want to stress how unprepared the region is and just what a 2,500-foot quarter-mile national security designation, car-free designation will mean for any Olympic venue anywhere in the region, whether it's here or anywhere else. And again, just how unready all the players are. So I would encourage vigilance and continued community and council engagement. Whether or not the games have a venue in Santa Monica, we will be affected. And I have real concerns, as I raised during the safety element, about the impact of increased metro headways and other things. And I hope that we can, keep the conversation moving and get continued reports as we move forward.
Did they talk about anticipated federal funds helping out? Because that's clearly not good.
Well, I mean, I think we didn't. I mean, I think national security designation probably meant different things to different presidential candidates and how to enforce those. So I think I'll stop there. I did learn that this is, I think, useful information for everybody. There is a limit to the frequency to metro headways, a lower limit to metro headways on the E line because of the way the A line and the E line merge downtown after LATTC. Remember, those two lines come together and then head toward Metro Center, or Metro 7, excuse me. And because of that merge, the headways can't get below a certain number of minutes, which is probably.
What's a headway?
A headway is the difference is the time from one train to the next. It's literally
Okay.
how many minutes from the
I get
front,
it.
the head of the train to the head of the next train.
Okay.
And so, if we ended up with 5-minute headways all day long, we'd have a lot of traffic and a lot of ambulances and police cars sitting at blocked tracks. And that is still a potential issue. So continued engagement is needed. Oh, and the hotel contracts, as far as I understand, expire in January of 2028.
What contract?
All the union hotel contracts.
Oh, that's exciting.
Oh, wow.
Perfect storm.
Now, I think I'll announce that if you want to speak, if someone in the audience wants to speak on one of the agenda items, please request forms for the chit and submit them to the commission secretary. All requests addressing the commission on public hearing items must be submitted prior to the commission's consideration of the item. I just want to also announce that item 9-A-1700 Ocean Avenue has the appeal. This appellant has requested items be continued to a future date. The commissioners need to vote to approve this continuance, and we need to roll call vote.
So moved.
Second. I have a question, though. Can we let people know, which apparently some people didn't know, about the continuation tonight, when it's actually scheduled? It'll be published or
The
whatever?
item will be renoticed for the
Okay,
future
great,
date.
thanks.
And you can do this by a voice vote, that's fine. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, unanimous.
Is there any public input? It's permitted on item not on the agenda, that
Wait.
are within the subject matter jurisdiction of this body. State law prohibits the body from taking any action on items not listed on the agenda, including issues raised under the agenda item.
Oh,
There's no consent calendar items, nothing under study session. And the 1700 item, 1700
11A is the next one. Do we have that?
we continued, so
No, 11A.
9A has been continued.
We just
so
did that.
10 state administratives,
Oh.
none.
11A.
11A, I know.
Oh, okay. All right, just,
kidding you.
okay, okay.
1125 Harvard Street, appeal of a administrative denial of the height modification to allow a proposed 6-foot-high hedge in front of the existing 3-foot-high wood fence along the front and side parcel lines around the yard setback. The property is a single-unit residential zoning R1 district pursuant to the Santa Monica Municipal Code, sections 9.21.050, fences, walls, or hedges cannot exceed a maximum of 42 inches within the required front yard setback. Pursuant to Santa Monica Municipal Code, section 9.4.04.050D, fences, walls, or hedges shall be measured from the lowest finished adjacent grade, or in the case that they are parallel to and within 5 feet of the sidewalk, the grade shall be the elevation of the closest point on the sidewalk. The Santa Monica Municipal Code, section 9.43.080B, allows an applicant to request a modification to this height limitation in the front yard setback. Applicant is the Magallanes Germisian Trust Appellant. And they are the owners of the property. Okay, the staff report.
Thank you. Good evening, Planning Commission. Oh, let me know.
Oh, do we have it? Oh, yes, is there any commissioners have any ex parte? No. No. Then let's have the staff presentation, please. Sorry.
Thank you. Good evening, Planning Commission. My name is Lakua Berra, Associate Planner at the City of Santa Monica. The item before you is an appeal of a zoning administrator's denial of a fence wall hedge height modification at 1125 Harvard for an overnight hedge in the front yard of the project site. The location is 1125 Harvard Street, situated between Washington Boulevard and Wilshire Boulevard in the single-unit density residential zone. There's an existing 2-story, 4,345 square foot single-unit dwelling on the property with a lot size of 7,869 square feet. The aerial photo shows the subject property being adjacent to single-unit and multi-unit properties, as well as a commercial corridor on Wilshire Boulevard. Provided are views looking toward the subject block from opposite sides of Harvard Street with a reference map. Santa Monica Municipal Code Section 9.21.050A1 allows a maximum height of 42 inches for fences, walls, and hedges located in front setback areas. The hedge height modification was to request the approval of a 6-foot-tall over-in-height hedge in front of a 41-inch high fence. Both the hedge and fence are located along the perimeter of the front yard and extend into the side yard. The hedge height modification request must meet the findings pursuant to Section 9.43.080B. The fence must be compatible with other similar structures in the surrounding neighborhood and mitigates impacts from adjacent uses, public right-of-way, or address safety concerns. The project should not be detrimental to the surrounding environment. And finally, the project should not impair the integrity and character of the neighborhood. The single-unit dwelling on the property was built in 2019. The hedge height application was filed on April 11, 2024. There are registered hedges located in the side and rear yards of this property. There is currently one open code enforcement case pending related to the subject front yard hedge, which has an over-in-height violation. The hedge and fence encroach within a 5-foot hazardous visual obstruction triangle of the neighbor's driveway. Regardless of the outcome of this modification application, the hedge and fence in the HVO triangle will need to be reduced to no higher than 24 inches pursuant to Section 9.21.180. The project was originally presented at the zoning administrator's hearing on July 9, 2024. 3 letters in opposition and 1 letter in support were received. On August 7, 2024, the zoning administrator denied the hedge height modification request for the 6-foot-high hedge in the front yard. On August 21, 2024, the property owner filed a timely appeal of the zoning administrator's decision. The site plan shows a majority of the 6-foot-high hedge located in the front yard area with a required setback of 30 feet. The proposed hedge is located along the perimeter of the front yard setback as shown on screen. The following photo shows the continuity of the 6-foot-tall hedges in front of the wooden fence, creating a hedge along the front yard perimeter. Staff reviewed the subject property in relation to other sites on the block. The area of study contains 36 single-unit residential parcels along either side of the block on Harvard Street. The red star indicates the subject property, and 2 parcels highlighted in green, or 6% of the study area, have registered hedges and walls within the front setback, and 11 parcels highlighted in yellow, or 31% of the study area, are unregistered fences and hedges. 23 parcels, or 61% of the study area, have open front yards with compliant fences, walls, and hedges within the front yard setback. The appellant's statement identified the prevalence of existing non-conforming hedges in the neighborhood as their appeal point to overturning the ZA's decision. The appellant alleges that the surrounding properties were granted exemptions from the fence, wall, and hedge height restrictions. The appellant also mentions that one of the parcels, 1020 Harvard Street, as shown in the picture in the presentation, which contains a registered wall, was inspiration for the subject parcel's proposed hedge. As mentioned previously, a majority of parcels have open yards or are in compliance with the municipal code. Of the 36 residential parcels in the study area, only 2 parcels were found to have legally registered non-conforming height fences, walls, or hedges in the front yard. One of the registered hedges was cut down to a conforming height, and the other registered concrete wall at 1020 Harvard was removed and replaced with a taller, illegal, non-conforming hedge, thus losing its legal non-conforming height status. There are otherwise no other parcels in the study area that received height modification approvals. While 12 parcels in the study area have illegal non-conforming fences and hedges, they cannot be considered as part of the neighborhood character, as they are not compliant or consistent with the existing regulations. In addition to the recommended action, the Planning Commission could consider the following with respect to the project if supported by the evidentiary record and consistent with applicable legal requirements. Either A1, continue the project for specific reasons consistent with applicable deadlines and with agreement from the applicant, or A2, articulate revised findings and/or conditions to approve or deny, with or without prejudice, the subject appeal. In conclusion, staff recommends that the Planning Commission deny the appeal 24 ENT-0166 and uphold the zoning administrator's decision to deny the hedge height modification application 24 ENT-0072, subject to the conditions of approval. And this concludes my presentation, and I'm available for any
Commissioners
comments.
have any questions of staff?
I have one quick question. I was interested, it was interesting to learn that if one gets an approval of a non-conforming fence, what have you, but changes the material, it then becomes non-conforming?
Yeah, that's correct. If you were to remove
I'm sorry.
If you were to remove a registered fence or wall or hedge, you would have to replace it of the same material or likeness. But if it does exceed the approved height, then it's not considered legal. Or if it's reduced, then it would have to be maintained to that.
No, I understand, but if it's the same height as approved, they can't change the material without the city's approval? That's odd. Okay. And I just wanted to also clarify that non-conforming fences, hedges, whatever, generally it's on a complaint basis that code enforcement goes out. There's not a systematic code enforcement effort. It's complaints, right?
It's complaints-based, but based off of this project, staff usually does
I understand.
yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Commissioner Chaco?
Could you clarify for me the distinction between legally registered and non-conforming?
Sure. I can go back to, this slide. During 2005 through 2007, there was the opportunity for residents to file any existing non-conforming fences or hedges. So it could be anything that exceeds the current code, and they may maintain it. But anything after that period, if there's anything that exceeds the 42-inch height within the front yard setback, that would be considered non-conforming, meaning that they're illegal and they're not allowed per code.
So if I might follow up on that, clarify for me, so non-conforming is considered illegal as opposed to legal non-conforming?
Yes, legal non-conforming is any fence or hedge or wall that was registered
I see.
during that time.
So the registration process is what established the legality of the non-conforming use?
yes.
Thank you.
If the commissioners have no other questions, I'll call the appellant.
Thank you.
You have 15 minutes.
Okay, good evening. My name is Daniel Magallanes. I'm one of the resident owners of the property. I live there with my husband and my 2 kids, 4 and 6 years old. The reason we planted trees in front of the hedge is to give security. In the last year, we have our mailbox vandalized. they stole all the, and they threw all the mail on the street. I present as approved before when I came here the first time. Then we have what it looks to be a security company person that was late December, early January, tried to open the door. I was in the shower, I didn't see, then I saw the notification, the cameras, we had cameras in the house, and with a gun in his hand, he tried to open the door in my house and was peeking through the windows and all of that. We called the police. Today I have the incident report. He said it was probably a mistake in the address that the company did. However, what happened if they go inside the house thinking somebody report that in their house there's a strange person? They go with a gun, they see somebody there and shoot or whatever. Who knows what happened? And then the last time, a few months ago, a person, probably a homeless person, young lady, jumped the gate that we have and tried to open again the front door. Then she went to the trampoline we have for the kids on the front, jumped in the trampoline, looked inside the house, then she left. And what we want to do is to add one layer of security to our home. We have young kids and we want them to enjoy the front yard, not to be just in the back. As everybody knows, Santa Monica is not a very safe place. Even say the crime went down, we stopped reporting it. We stopped reporting, for example, when this lady came, I didn't bother to call the police because nothing happened. We are frustrated with all the homelessness. We have an alley in the back that there's homeless camping all the time. Camping meaning leaving trash. Camping meaning you have to be very careful not to run over them. Camping meaning going to the bathroom, meaning people doing crack there. Yesterday I called the police because there was one person camping in the middle of the alley that we couldn't pass without running over that person. First of all, it wasn't safe for that person. We obviously was not mentally well. And I have also, if you want, the police number report. We just want to add one more layer of security. That's all we want to do. And I don't know, I'm sure that everybody knows how Santa Monica looks like. There are hundreds of homes that they don't comply with the 42 inches. Even in this block, the 42 inches high fence or hedge, there are hundreds. I walk all the time around the neighborhood and you can see it. So, and those, they are not new. There were not, some of them are 10 feet high, 8 feet high, much higher than we want. Also, one of the reasons that I was told that the police want to see the house, right, from the street in case something happened. Our home is like 3 feet, I'd say just an estimate, 3 feet above the street level, meaning that you can, even with the 6 feet high hedge, you can see perfectly the front door, all the front door and all the windows and everything that's going on there. Pretty much that's it. Just we want to add one more security layer in our home. And the aesthetic of the neighborhood, in my opinion, doesn't change because there are hundreds of homes that they have high hedges in the front with plant. And if we cannot make it, I know it's our neighbor, next door neighbor that reported because she says that she cannot see when she drives out of her driveway. I don't know if this comes to the case. Since we moved in, we have problems with her. She's been attacking us. I don't know if it's the fact that we are same-sex couple, or I don't know what is it. I don't want to point any fingers or anything, but she's been complaining about many things to the neighbors and to everybody, but she complains that she cannot see very well. She walks her dog around the neighborhood and she sees all the hedges, all the driveways that they are blocked for high hedges, and she passes in front of those hedges with driveways with no problem. And she never reports any of them. She just reports us. Thank you. If you have any question.
Have any questions, commissioners?
Not really a question, but if you could just share the police report, I would take a look at that.
Yeah.
Actually, I do.
And I don't suppose you have a photograph.
Oh, it's just that?
Yeah,
just
it's
the-
the car. It's
it's
not
the
a police report, it's an incident report. And he said he can be contacted in case that he needs to be contacted.
Okay, that's not what I'm looking for. Thank you. And you don't have a photo of your front door to see that it's visible from the street over the 6-foot high hedge?
Actually, you can see it in the picture that I submit. I submit so many pictures.
All right. I'm just curious if you had one for your presentation. We saw it was in the planning, the report.
I have a question. The invasions, the woman on the trampoline, the guy who came to the front door, did that all happen when you had your 6-foot hedge?
Yes, I think yes.
So what makes you think that a 6-foot hedge is going to stop that from happening if it happened when it was there?
Because we have a small gate there. We have a small gate, and our plan, if you see in the inspiration that we sent, because the code allows a door up to 8 feet, I think it says, or something like that. We want to add a bigger door, a bigger gate, a higher gate. So with the higher gate, the wooden fence, and the plants up to 6 feet, it will be enough. I don't know if it's going to be enough, because if they decide to go in, but we can lock in, and it will be harder for people to jump and to go over. Because right now, let's say that we have to remove the hedge. 42 inches, anybody can jump. The gate that we have right now is 42 inches. And that's what that young lady
I get
jumped
it, I
with no
get it,
problem.
okay.
And I even submit the pictures of her jumping you can see that she's on top of the little gate.
Just also for your information, what we hear from the police is not just the ability to see the front door, it's also to see what's going on in the front yard. And that's, so they don't have to walk into a situation where they have no idea what's going on in the yard itself, not at the front
I
door.
understand.
Are there any other questions? I'll open the discussion to the whole commission.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Nina.
I move to deny the appeal and uphold the zoning administrator's decision.
I mean, I'll second the motion, but I think we should explain our
Should have a
motion
discussion.
because
Yeah.
he's,
Sorry, can I just interrupt,
Yeah.
Chair? If you can just, if you wouldn't mind confirming on the record that there's no public comment for this item?
There's no, oh, I'm sorry, there's no public comment. No chips have been submitted.
these are always difficult processes, and I absolutely respect what you're dealing with. My position is that, having been through these, is that we are bound by the code. We are constrained, and we also have, certainly on my time on the Planning Commission, dealt with a number of cases that look very similar to this one. And we have not made exceptions. And so we're in a situation where the code is very clear, the process is very clear, the police safety standards, internationally recognized police safety standards, are very clear, and we in Santa Monica are, we tend to follow those. We don't follow them perfectly. We followed them perfectly. Our height limit would be 24 inches, and transparent above that, we go to 42. I would, if you were still up there, I'd ask you if you knew about this, but I would assume that the police have offered you a free crime prevention walkthrough. If you have not taken advantage of that, I encourage you to contact them. They will come out. I've experienced break-ins, and so I've had them come out and do a walkthrough. They're very direct. They will tell you exactly what should and shouldn't be done, both in terms of camera placement and in terms of protecting your property. But the law is really clear, and so really irrespective, I mean, I feel your pain, but irrespective of that, I'm bound by, I feel I'm bound by the code as written, and so that's why I seconded the motion.
I think we should take a vote. Oh, you-
I just want to tell you, I understand that you probably are very frustrated by the fact that there are 10 illegal hedges on the blocks and you're being told no. And what that demonstrates to you, to all of us, is the city does not have the staff ability to go out and enforce against everybody. So that's why it's on a complaint basis. But I could see the confusion and what you may see as unfairness, that you're the one up here being told no when you've got 10 other hedges on your street. But as Sean said, it is the code and we really don't have any choice. It concerns me because those hedges probably are blocking driveways and visibility coming out of those driveways, and that's not being enforced, so that's of concern. Anyway, I just want to let you know that I understand it's probably very confusing why 10 people can do it and you can't.
Commissioner Fresco, do you have another comment?
Oh, no, I think they
Okay.
covered it.
I guess we should take a vote.
All right, Commissioner Chaco,
Support the motion?
Commissioner Fresco,
Yes.
Commissioner Hamilton,
Yes.
Commissioner Lambert,
Yes.
Commissioner Langris,
Yes.
Commissioner Reese,
Yes.
and Chair Tolkien.
Yes.
I also just want to note for the record that the STOA just has a small correction to remove. There's a statement that it's effective unless appealed. Obviously, the decision is final with the Planning Commission, so there's no further opportunity to appeal this application.
Did we handle the STOA in that motion?
Just assumed it was, but
I move that we accept the correction to the STOA.
And approve it, just
And
in case
approve
we
it.
didn't? Yeah, second.
Should we take another vote?
Commissioner Chaco,
Yes.
Commissioner Fresco,
Yes.
Commissioner Hamilton.
Yes.
Commissioner Lambert.
Yes.
Commissioner Langris.
Yes.
Commissioner Reese.
Yep.
And Chair Tolkien.
Yes. Item 12, there are no resolutions. Item 13, no written communications. 14, Planning Commission member discussion items. There are none.
I'm not sure if this is appropriate. When is the new council sworn in?
The installation's December 10th. Yeah, December 10th.
Thanks.
I guess now it's 6:45, and I'm going to adjourn the meeting.
You almost beat the record for last.
Almost.
Thank you for your help.
Oh, sure.
I'll
Sure.
learn this one of these days.
Yeah.